Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our June 10th, 2025 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting here at 9:30 a.m. at the Madison County Courthouse Annex in our Fiscal Courtroom, 135 West Irving Street. Appreciate everybody being here. This time, Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs? Here. Master Lockmuller? Here. Master Hughes?
Here.
Master Buckton?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. This time, I'd like to invite Pastor Jim Riggs from Big Hill Christian Church to come up. And it's taken me many years to get rid of the avenue. You know, it has, but appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Pray with me. Father God, you've given us such a beautiful morning that just reminds us of your presence in our lives. You tell us in your word that the evidence of you is all around us. Lord, we thank you for the good people that are here, for the community that we have, for those who are in positions of leadership. And Lord, we pray that as you command us to do, that we be good stewards of all that you've given us. Lord, I just pray your blessing on this meeting. We pray, Lord, for your wisdom, your direction, and your divine providence. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Sheriff, if you will, please pledge.
Stand and face our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Just a reminder, if anybody does want to speak during the public comment period, Robin's in the back. There is a sign-in sheet. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over our previous meeting minutes. That was from our May 27th, 2025 regular scheduled fiscal court meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
I think I'll pass. I didn't have the stomach to read them.
Master Buckton?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Let's see, next is first order of business. Our treasurer's report is always at our fourth Tuesday of each month. First order of business today is a proclamation. And we have with us Deborah Parsons from the Jemima Boone Chapter, National Society of Daughters of American Revolution. So we're glad that you're here. And Ms. Parsons, if you want to come up and say a few words, I'll present you with the proclamation. But in the meantime, I'll read it, okay? Whereas the Second Continental Congress adopted the American flag on June 14th, 1777, and whereas June 14th, 2025 marks 248 years of displaying our American flag, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize Old Glory as a symbol of hope, inspiration, and pride for the people of the United States and around the world, and whereas in order to commemorate the adoption of our flag on August 3rd, 1949, the Congress, by joint resolution, designated June 14th of each year as Flag Day and requested that the President issue an annual proclamation designating the week in which June 14th occurs as National Flag Week and call upon citizens of the United States to display the flag during that week. And whereas the Jemima Boone Chapter National Society Daughters of the American Revolution is hereby recognized for its ongoing efforts to honor and support National Flag Day and Week. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim the week of June 8th through the 14th, 2025 as National Flag Week in Madison County, Kentucky, and urge all citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the county by displaying our American flag at their homes and throughout the country.
Thank you, Judge Taylor. I am so happy to be here because to me, Flag Day is sort of like a birthday. It's a great day. I want to tell you about my family and growing up. Be short, but when I was growing up, my dad took me to every flag, every parade, everything, anything to do with the flag. He was in the Navy, he was in Korea, he was in World War II, and he had such love for America, and it wasn't unjustified. He fought for it. And he introduced me to all the friends that he'd made when he was in the services. And when they'd have their Flag Day, some of them didn't fit their uniforms so well when they were parading, but their hat always fit, and their flag always fit. And after the parade, we'd get together at Shoney's or someplace like that, and the guys would talk about the greatest generation that they were part of. And ever since then, I've had a love for this flag because no matter where you go in the world, it's a great flag to see. So because of the wonderful job you've done, you guys are so important to the political view of our community. And we really appreciate you and what you've done. Because without you all, our love of our country and our county would be a lot worse. Kenny came over to Clark Moore and loaded all that election equipment and taught our kids about elections and how important they are. We have a great county, and I'm really proud and thankful for you guys and what you do on a daily basis. And as such, I have one big old flag for the courthouse, and we just appreciate everything you've done.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, should I hold the flag and this, or just
Let her hold the proclamation and you hold the flag.
hold the flag? Let's go to the center here.
Every time we do this, I always feel like there's people looking over me.
There is.
Gotta get used to this new space.
She's adorable.
Thank you.
Appreciate you a lot. I tell the family I said hello.
Lovely.
Give me a sit up here.
Appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
You know, Judge, it hurts when I see what happens out in California. And not that it happens just in California. And it also hurts when people get to the point to where they care more about themselves than they do the country. This wokeism, this individualism, rather than what's best for everybody, it really hurts. So I really appreciate you coming today, and I appreciate the American flag. Thank you so much.
We're in a great country.
Yep.
If you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Option?
Thank you all very much. Next on our agenda is our second reading of ordinance 2025-007. This is an administrative code for fiscal year 25-26. Jill.
This is an ordinance relating to the adoption of the FY 2025-2026 Administrative Code, repealing ordinance 2024-04. Whereas the Madison County Judge Executive and the Fiscal Court recognize that a personnel system which recruits and retains a qualified, motivated workforce is indispensable to the effective and efficient operation of the county government. And whereas it is essential to have policies and procedures in writing delineating all aspects of employment affected by said policies and procedures. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Madison County, Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows: that the policies and procedures attached hereto shall be the system of personnel administration for the county, and that the policies and procedures may be waived, altered, or suspended only by a change of this ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Motion approved ordinance 2025-007, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Buckett?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Jill. Next is resolution 2025-048, Madison County Road Department Annual Bid Award. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. Resolution 2025-048, a resolution of Madison County Fiscal Court approving the Madison County Road Department FY 25-26 Annual Bid Awards. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids in accordance with the administrative code, and whereas bids were requested for asphalt, bulk engine oil, concrete, culverts, de-icing road salt, fuel, and rock. And whereas bids were properly posted and have been opened and reviewed, And whereas the Madison County Road Department recommends awarding the bids as follows. Asphalt to the Allen Company Incorporated, bulk engine oils to Apollo Oil, concrete to Concrete Materials Company LLC, culverts to Interstate Construction Products Incorporated, de-icing road salt to Morton Salt Incorporated, fuel to Kentucky Fuel Supply LLC, and rock to the Allen Company. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
All right, thank you, Scott. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-048. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion to approve, have a second, any discussion?
Scott, overall, how did our prices look this year compared to
Okay,
last year?
if you'll follow along with me, I've got kind of a breakdown. I'll be able to tell you. Looks like on the asphalt, it went up a very minimal, 0.004%. So it went up 45 cents a ton for Lake Blacktop, which was a very minimal increase. The bulk engine oils, most of them stayed the same, and we had several that decreased in price. The concrete actually went up 3.3% for the 3,500 PSI and 3.1% for the 4,500 PSI. Galvanized culverts went up an average of 3%. The ADS plastic pipe actually decreased by 5%. De-icing road salt had an increase of 2%. Fuel decreased by unleaded 14.3% per gallon. Diesel fuel decreased 8.8% per gallon, and the diesel off-road decreased by 12% per gallon. Our big jump this year was rock. The picked up price increased it on an average of 8%, and the delivered price increased on an average of 15%. So our big rise this year was in rock.
Fuel went down, but delivery went up.
But delivered rock went up, yes.
Huh, interesting. Scott, do we use more ADS or galvanized, or is it a mix?
It's a big topic right now. I spent half the day yesterday with some local contractors, and I think we're going to be moving more towards ADS in the future. They have come out with a product that it's considered a deep bury product, and a lot of these culverts we're replacing are 12, 14 foot deep. The expense of that is just astronomical. So if we can buy this pipe, they're calling it 100-year pipe, I think the money is going to work out where we're better off starting to replace with the gray ADS to make more of a long-term repair.
Okay.
Right now, we are buying more galvanized than we are ADS, but probably 40-60 right now. But I hope to move in the future with this new product to maybe start buying more ADS.
Okay. Good.
So you're gonna recommend, if a person puts in a culvert, you're gonna recommend them plastic?
Absolutely not. Not a roadside culvert. They won't stay in the ground because they don't have enough cover under them. What I'm referring to is these big subdivision dips. When you go down a hill, most of those culverts are 14 to 16 foot deep. We're now having to replace those.
Yeah.
The excavation cost alone is astronomical. And the galvanized that deep is only lasting an average of 15 to 20 years, where the plastic will last 100 years.
They're rusting out.
The bottom's rusting out of them.
Yeah.
So still on the roadside culverts and the driveway entrances, we're probably going to have to use galvanized just for strength, because they only have, 4 to 8 inches of cover over them, and anything pulling in and out will smash a plastic pipe. And if you don't have enough cover over a plastic, I know you've drove around and see it, the state has tried it, but the ends curl up because there's not enough weight to hold the pipe down. So there's going to be a place for both of them, but I think, for long-term fixes, I think the ADS may be a better option for us.
Well, we got one major issue. It's going to be a pretty good fix there at Waterford. When you get into that, it's not just replacing the culvert, but I mean, you got a road, you got a sidewalk, you got transformers and utility infrastructure that is failing. I mean, you're going to have to fix. I mean, so it gets into it.
Since you and I visited that one, we also have one at the entrance of Northgate, just as bad.
Really?
So we've got it on the schedule now, it'll have to be repaired sometime in the next couple of months.
And I guess Waterford, I mean, it's 25 years old, I guess.
Where we're seeing a lot of our
little
problems
less.
is around the 20 to 30-year-old subdivisions. They're really deteriorated and starting to see a lot of problems in those structures.
All right. Any questions? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-048. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Cole?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Next is Resolution 2025-049. It's the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Interlocal Agreement. Jill, good morning.
Good morning.
Again.
This is a resolution authorizing the Madison County Fiscal Court to enter into an interlocal agreement among the Kentucky counties of Anderson, Bourbon, Boyle, Clark, Estill, Franklin, Garrett, Harrison, Jessamine, Lexington, Fayette County, Lincoln, Madison, Mercer, Nicholas, Powell, Scott, and Woodford, referred to later on as all entities being bodies of the corporate and political subdivision of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Whereas Kentucky Interlocal Cooperation Act, KRS 65.210 through 65.300, permits the parties to make the most efficient use of powers by enabling them to cooperate on a basis of mutual advantage and therefore providing services and facilities in a manner and form that will best accord with geographic, economic, population, and other factors which influence the needs and development of local communities. Whereas the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, enacted by Congress of the United States, provides for the federal United States Department of Labor funds to be granted to several states for the delivery of services and programs under this federal act. And whereas the parties wish to increase the effectiveness of the area's workforce development system under this federal act. And whereas the parties agree to the terms and conditions set forth in this agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute the contract on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2025-49, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Thanks, Jill. Next is Resolution 2025-050. It's an annual standing order to pre-approve reoccurring expenses for fiscal year 2025-2026. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. Resolution 2025-050, a resolution of the Madison County Fiscal Court approving an annual standing order to pre-approve certain recurring expenses for the fiscal year 25-26. Whereas pursuant to KRS 68.2753 and KRS 68.020, the Madison County Fiscal Court, the county, may adopt an order to pre-approve the payments of monthly payroll, utility expenses, and payments to vendors listed in the pre-approved list by DLG and budget documents. And whereas no other expenses shall be pre-approved pursuant to this subsection without the written consent of the state local finance officer. And whereas the county, in accordance with state law, hereby orders the recurring expenses for monthly payroll, utility expenses, and payments to vendors that regularly provide services to the county, and listed in the attached order to be paid when due. And whereas it is hereby acknowledged that the standing orders shall expire after July 1st of each fiscal year, and no more payments designated in the order shall be pre-approved unless a new order is adopted by the county, according to the provisions of KRS 68.2753 and KRS 68.020. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-050. Can I get a motion and a second for approval, please?
Motion to
Second.
approve.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? I will note that some things have changed in the KRS, just for your all's knowledge. If you happen to look at this list compared to a list in the past, some things have been added because the portion of the resolution, they did add vendors that are regularly provided service to the county. So there's some names that we were able to add this year to it than what we've done in the past, okay? On that reoccurring if we have a contractor, a vendor, or somebody that we're paying on a monthly basis. So, all right.
Electricity, whatever, those common.
Well, electricity, utilities, and stuff like that we're already, but like a good example would be like a professional services contract. You know, if we're paying a consultant a flat monthly retainer or something like that, those type of items can be on the reoccurring now because we voted specifically on them in fiscal court for that amount, and they're an automatic monthly payment.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be good for the public to know.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, any questions, comments? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Watkins?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. Next is Resolution 2025-051. This is a resolution. This is MWM Consulting LLC's Economic Development Services Agreement. Perfect example
Yes, it
of a recurring expense.
This is a resolution to approve a professional services agreement between Madison County Fiscal Court and MWM Consulting LLC. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to enter into a professional services agreement with MWM Consulting. Whereas economic development and the creation of jobs are a priority for Madison County. And whereas the county has been pleased with the economic development representation and consulting services of MWM LLC and has provided and wishes to enter into this agreement that will lay a solid foundation for strategic and long-term economic growth. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jill. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-051. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Watkins?
Yes.
Master Combs? Yes. Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2025-052, Madison County EMS Board appointment. Jill.
This is a resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County EMS Board. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County EMS Board members, and whereas the Madison County EMS Board has a vacant board position, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Ronald Jackson fit for the position as board member of the Madison County EMS Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2025-052, Judge.
All right. Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second? Any discussion?
Who'd we lose?
Rob Brock.
Yeah, Rob Brock.
That was our appointment, I should say.
Yeah, Rob Brock had gotten a new job and had to step away. So Ron will be filling, obviously to the end of that term, and then he would start if we reappointed him.
Just wondering.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Watkins?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2025-053, Madison County Information Technology Managed Services Agreement for fiscal year 25-26. Chris.
Good morning. Resolution 25-053, a resolution, Madison County Fiscal Court authorizing signature of the 25-26 Madison County Information Technology Managed Services Agreement. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is providing IT services and desires to sign contractual agreements for those services with the following entities: Madison County Emergency Communications Center, Madison County Clerk's Office, Madison County Detention Center, Madison County Sheriff's Office, Madison County's Attorney's Office, Kirksville Water Association, Madison County Utilities District, Madison County PVA, Madison County EMS, and the Southern Madison Water District. Whereas these agreements shall be certified for necessary IT service work billable every 12 months. Whereas the parties agree to the terms and conditions set forth in the agreements, which will become effective July 1st, 2025, continue through June 30th, 2026. Now therefore be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve the resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
I'm
So
a
moved.
motion.
Second.
So a motion to approve Resolution 2025-053.
Yeah.
A second? All right.
sir.
Any discussion?
Good contract. These are good contracts.
Yeah, these are, and we redid them a little bit, probably to more align with what we really do today. I mean, these were probably the original contracts when I started it in 2007 or whatever it was. So we'll be getting these out to our partners to sign and then get them filed away, and we'll just continue doing the good work.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-053. Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buckton?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris, appreciate it. Next is personnel. Jessica, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Members of the court, I would like to ask for your all's approval on the hiring recommendations in your court packet.
So move.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buckton?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, appreciate it, Jessica. Man, I had an employee spotlight, did you take
I
it?
stole it.
Oh, that's why it ain't in here, all right. Kenny Barger, employee spotlight.
Yes, sir. Thrilled to bring this before the court. It's Brandy Kelly in our office, and she is not going to be excited about this recognition at all. She'd much rather just, she's like Jenny, much rather just keep her head down and work, and nobody knows she's there. But a colleague said this about Brandy. Brandy always demonstrates a strong work ethic and dedication to her job. She takes on all the hard, out of the ordinary, and most of the time, difficult tasks. Whenever there's a question from a customer or coworker, Brandy does her very best to answer it. Brandy is full of knowledge and stays informed on all the ever-changing motor vehicle matters. She cares about the office and the public she serves. Brandy is an outstanding employee, and the county is very lucky to have her. Brandy's been with us since 2019, and she has taken to what we do like a duck to water, and this is exactly right. She does everything she can to stay up to date, and she's our lead on the CAVIS changes and things like that, and just like all the rest of them, I'm really lucky to have her.
It's good.
Salta County.
Appreciate you, Kenny. Appreciate you, Brandy. She thinks she's watching?
No.
No.
If
She's working, that's
and
right.
if she knew
Yeah,
it was,
she's not
if she
watching.
could, she wouldn't.
That's good. All right, next is judge's report. I don't have a whole lot on my report, but I do have one topic that I'd like to discuss. We do have some holidays coming up. Quickly mention those. Madison County Government's related offices will be closed on Thursday, June 19th. For Juneteenth holiday, offices will reopen on Friday, June 20th at 8 a.m. Also, if you want to know what's going on happening in our community, please go to our website under the community-events. So it's www.madisoncountyky.gov/community events. You can see a list of events that are going on in the community, and you can also, if you're having an event, you can put it on the calendar so that way that we don't get conflicting events going on in the community and people can't participate in the things that they might want to. So this is a conversation I'd like to have with you all, and you all giving me some direction. And Jailer Brock couldn't be here today. He's actually at a Jailer's conference, couldn't be here, but I wanted to get some direction because our comprehensive correctional care, we met with them last week, and they were talking about the need of increasing the cost of our health care in our detention center. And it's, I told them to send me a contract to see what the increase would be. And the increase is pretty decent amount. It's about $13,000 a month. More. And I just need some direction. Our contract goes through June 30th. I do feel like that they're, willing to work with us. I did have conversations with him about, that, normally we're preparing our jail budgets in April. All their other facilities, they've said that they've increased quite a bit. They did not do it to us over, I guess, this past year because they just hit us with obviously a pretty big increase when we went from 12-hour service to 24-hour service.
What percent increase is that?
I didn't do the percentage. It would be about, let's see.
What is it right now?
It's 780, 790.
About 800 a year, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty close, yeah. So it'd be 20%, yeah. Plus
How much?
20%.
20%?
So, I just need some direction. Right now,
They pretty much got us.
right now, it's 900, it'd be, if we did try to negotiate a little bit, it'd be $960,965.55. It'd be 78,000. We're paying about $65,000 a month right now in medical. This would go to 78,000 a month.
Is that a yearly
But-
contract, Judge?
It is. Now, it does have an automatic renewal, I think, in our contract if, parties agree or nothing's done. I can't remember exact verbiage. But we also have that cost pool that's, it's an additional 40, I think it's $3,300 a month, I think, that goes into this pool to help pay for medications, specific if there's, I think, is it surgeries, Jill? Is it if you can come up to the mic, if an inmate has to go to the emergency room, ER, I think there's some things that goes towards. It's costing us, but that's not necessarily 3 C's, right?
Correct. So they manage the cost pool for us.
Yeah.
But that would pay for medication expenses, as we've talked about, or outside labs or x-rays or other medical expenses that come out of that fund or that pool that have to be covered by the detention center.
Is it based on any certain volume of inmates or anything like that, or is it just an annual contract, whether you have 1 or 100?
It is, they base that, and they have always based our rates on what our average daily census is, which is fairly consistent. The new contract does not account for an increase or in numbers per se. It's just the cost of overall medical in across the country. And as Judge said, we have not seen an increase. We've had one renewal, but we've not seen an increase since we went to 24/7 coverage. I think they have about 60 detention centers, if I'm not mistaken, is what he told us last week.
How many?
60.
Yeah.
I think it was 60. All of them, they have increased. They usually do like a CPI kind of increase, but most of them got this 15 to 20% increase over the course of the last 2 years. But we went to 24/7 and did not see that increase. So trying to get caught up, I guess, is what I would say.
Well, their contract was written for a standard 3% increase. They got 3% a year regardless.
They didn't
No,
last
sir.
year.
Not since we went to the 24/7.
Now, they might have had it,
that
that
is-
might have been something, when it was 400 and something thousand a year, when it's 12 hours, but it wasn't last year.
This is the kind of thing, if you don't have it, it can cost you a heck of a lot more.
And I will say that, he had some nice, kind things to say about new leadership over there at the jail, which was very refreshing. There is a difference in there's the 3C staff over there that they want to come to work, versus before it was a little challenging, I think, sometimes, but it's a big, this is the problem that we have, is we take on these extra expenses and there's no revenue stream to cover it. Again, y'all have heard me say this many times, and I'm not saying anything about raising taxes, all right? I'm just using this as an example. If we did 4% on property taxes, it only generates $140,000. It ain't gonna cover this one cost of an increase to our overall budget, And this is not, this is a jail budget, which is where this comes out of, but we're subsidizing the jail's budget, as you all know, by a pretty tremendous amount every year.
It pretty much absorbs everything in property tax, doesn't it? Figure.
Almost, yeah, it's not quite, but yeah, we keep having hits like this, and yes.
And I don't think the public understands that, when they mention property tax, that their property tax is paying for a jail. I mean, that's pretty much what it's paying for. It's not, are we even allowed to speak to the cost of some of the medication that we're paying monthly? I mean, don't we have one?
There's nothing wrong with speaking to the cost of
In
it.
generalities.
Yeah, you can't.
Don't we have one
Can't talk.
individual with a prescription of 10,000 or something?
12, I think.
12,000.
I mean, if
12,000.
you do that in a yearly period, that's more money than the first district will get blacktop. And people don't understand that. Because when they call me about roads and they say, you know, my road's deteriorating, how long, I mean, what are we gonna do? And I tell them, well, we've got so much money and that's what we got. And they don't understand that their property tax is paying for a jail. And it's not sustainable. There's no way to sustain the cost. I mean, we're running a hospital more than we are a jail.
Well, some of the new, some of the medically assisted treatment is, by law, we have to provide that now in the jail too, that we weren't before, right? So there's extra cost there, but, you know, Brian, that's a good point. You know, we have one individual right now, one medication for a month, $12,000. I mean, that we have to pay for.
And I think to help maybe the public understand that is when someone's incarcerated, any medical coverage that they have cannot be utilized. So if they are on Medicare or Medicaid or private insurance, once you become incarcerated, that is it's void. So that is why that we have to cover those medication costs, is because I mean that's our duty. So we don't really get a choice in that.
And you can imagine that, you know, I mean, the individuals that are coming in with obviously the drug epidemic, mental health crisis that we're seeing in our community, those individuals have a lot of health needs, you know.
And I think it's worth noting they have a lot of comorbidities and health needs, but if someone is hospitalized or they are going to dialysis or they're having to have some other outside, not only do we pay for those expenses, but we also have to pay for jail deputies to accompany them. So there's an expense along with that too, from a personnel standpoint, of having someone that is an additional person that's sitting at their bedside or whatever the case may be.
You know, we as a fiscal court in a county in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, we're going to have to take it upon ourselves to lobby, to go to Frankfurt, to do what, and I've heard all about the Jailers Association, but the Jailers Association might be a strong lobby, but I don't know that it has a lot of strength to stand on right now, since most of the jails are running a deficit. And the state legislators are the only ones that can change it, as I understand it. So the longer we wait for that, the longer we wait about looking at the future for Madison County, and I'm not sitting here saying a new jail, but whether it's a new jail, whether it's getting rid of the jail, or whatever it might be, the funding is going to continue to grow, and we're going to have to continue to fund the difference, which then takes away from the mandated state mandates that we have to do for our citizens here. And you're right, it's no different than zoning. Until it gets in the citizens' bubble, they won't pay a bit of attention to it. But if it happens to affect them personally, then all heck is going to break loose. So I think we as a fiscal court are going to have to be very proactive on this. And I wish I could define proactive, but it's a multitude of things that I think we need to start now, or we're going to regret it 2 years from now. That's just a comment.
You know, Judge, every time, and we're getting ready to go tomorrow to a conference, and every one of these conferences that I've been to, there's always been individuals there from medical suppliers. When was the last time we had the contract bidded? You know, I think it's something that every year, you know, if they're going to raise their price 20%, then we ought to at least have a due diligence to pit one against the other and say, can you do any better? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Tom, but I don't know that I don't know we have a lot of choices.
Yeah.
You know, we
Pretty much two. There's pretty much two across the state. And I think we have to realize too, and I think in our last 2 years of having looked at this from a medical standpoint, I mean, when we bid this out a little over 2 years ago and went to Three
Three
Cs.
Cs.
We were Southern Health Partners prior to that. They gave us their notice. We did that. We got one bid, and it was.
And I think
more-
we were fortunate to get
and
that
we were,
one.
and we were very fortunate. I can say that
With-
we made a lot of personal calls, trying to seek bids, trying to even look at opportunities from local health providers. But medical in a detention center is a different avenue. We're fortunate to have great medical providers in our community that would not touch that. And I think due to the acuity of our inmates in our jail, which is exactly what both providers have told us, that is one reason, I mean, we're not going to get a lot of bids because we have a pretty sick population. And we have a large population to serve. And so I think we have to always be careful. I think we always have to do our due diligence and bid things out to keep it competitive. But I think we also have to be careful because that also can backfire in that looking at what a couple other jails that we've talked to, when they've bid it out, they've seen a 20 to 40% increase in their cost, even with their own provider, as opposed to, maybe you get a 10 or a more balanced approach. So I think it is a balance of making sure we keep them honest and competitive, but protecting ourselves to ensure that we can get the service provided.
Joe, I think that one of the things that I've been hearing for some time since I've been on the court, the problem doesn't start, we can't solve the problem of our jail based upon what I think the problem is. It has to start in the schools. It has to start in the county. And so we need to take a leadership role, and I know the judge has tried, but we're going to, as a fiscal court, we're going to have to get together with the different people that are involved and should be involved, or this is going to continue to be a drag on the county budget. And we're going to have to raise taxes. I'm not saying that's what we're up here talking about today. I'm just saying our services are mandated by the state. We don't have any choice eventually, because nobody wants growth, nobody wants taxes raised, nobody wants anything until it gets in their bubble. But yet these things like the jail and other things that we have that are just growing and growing and growing, and we're having to cover it, eventually we're going to have to do something. So I'm just saying I'm willing to get involved in however, to try to work with doing what we can be. And I know that the staff and the county government today is very efficient, and I appreciate that. But we're going to have to figure out on our own, because I don't think anybody's going to come to us with the golden key.
The jailer every year, well, this is his first year, but the jailer's happy with it. The jailer's happy with it, we should be happy with it. However, every single year, we sit up here and talk about this, and every single year, the only thing, in my opinion, that's missing is the ransom note. That's the only thing that's missing.
Judge, I'd like to give you some,
I'm just still waiting on direction.
but I have no idea what to tell you. I mean, it's just, that's how complex it is, because it's not in our court to say, the ball's not in our court. It's in Frankfurt to fix this issue, because it's a trickle-down effect of not taking ownership of state prisoners. I mean, these folks are not in our jail because, like the judge always says, setting off fireworks and breaking a county ordinance. That's not why they're there. And then the county citizens are taking it on the chin. And, it's a huge consequence as these costs go up. You're going to get less and less money to do the projects that you want to do. When you're talking about roads, when you talk about the sheriff's office, when you talk about anything. When you take practically the entire property tax revenue that you take in, that's what your jail cost is. You can only stretch $1 so far, and that's all you can do. Like I said, I'd like to give you some direction. We'll fight with you in Frankfurt. Maybe, I know Frankfurt, the legislature has a jail task force. Maybe we need our own. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, of course, we put a jail task force together locally here a long time ago, and, people, I think the intentions were good. I think it maybe was a little too early at the time. Of course, but you all said it. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody wants to pay more money to pay for the things that, in my opinion, have return on investment, which I understand. That's all right. That's what I love about America, man. It's a free country, so people can think how they want to think. But at the end of the day, we have continuing costs rising. We've got a company that's providing medical service to us that wants to go up about $165,000. We don't have that in our budget. When I did the math yesterday on the increase, if we paid this, we got enough for 10 months, which we've already have budgeted because we ever had our first reading. We've already gotten our budget back from DLG, approving it for the second reading, so which will be next meeting. If it's okay with the court, maybe I'll go back to them, maybe to see if I can negotiate with them. Maybe doesn't let all this hit us this year. And if it's okay with the court, I'll bring something back next court.
Is there any, well, I know there's negotiations, and I know you would do that, but is there any negotiations or anything that we can actually negotiate with them? We're going to take these things, but we don't want these add-ons down here. Or, who dictates what services they give and what they don't give?
Obviously that's all
think
contractual,
there is
but we
any.
don't have any bonus services. I mean, we're pretty
but
skeletal in our.
Right, I guess I said it the wrong way, but what if we cut out some services
Well, I think
that are not bonus?
I think some things are a standard of care. I think some of that is dictated
By whom?
from a legislative standpoint
That's
to
what I figured.
provide medical services.
But eventually, the legislature won't wake up until there's an old shoot.
And just so
And
that
the problem is that the problem too is that, if you don't provide these services, it might, let's say it might save us a little bit of money. Let's just say it did, but when we don't provide that care to that individual and then there's a death or
Then there's a lawsuit.
You all know what we've dealt with there in executive session, and so, it's that double-edged sword. I'm telling you, I say it all the time. That double-edged sword's getting swung at us, and we're just trying to figure out which is the dullest side to get hit with. We're gonna get hit,
Well.
and that's what's happening.
And we have to eventually, and we are trying, but whether it comes to the security and safety of our citizens or whether it comes to the jail, we're gonna have to have some help.
Well,
We're gonna have to do something. We can't just sit back and ignore it.
I've had this conversation with Jenny many times, and she'll bring you the dockets and show you that person and say which one you want to let out, and more than likely you're probably not going to say, well, you can't let any of these out. I mean, the individual that's $12,000 medication bill, I called about that one, saying, hey, can we do something?
That's not mine.
I know, that's not you.
you would
But
know about either.
that's in circuit court, but I called about that one, and that individual's got,
Well,
is not a very,
Law-abiding citizen.
there you go. That's
Well,
the
the-
best way to say it. Not a very
and I'm not,
law-abiding citizen.
I know the courts have their challenges as well, but they could be a partner or a helper and work with us to try to solve this issue for the future, rather than some of the things that they do.
Well, now, in all fairness, we do. Every time somebody goes to the hospital and is told they're going to stay, I get a phone call. Every time the jail calls me.
I didn't
and asks.
realize you were in the courts.
Yeah,
I
well,
was
that-
talking about taking patients and driving them, extra expenses that we have as a county that are unnecessary. If that's your fault, then shame on you.
Well, as far as, what do you mean, driving the extra expenses from the courts?
Well, we in the past have discussed the fact that the sheriff's department has to drive people instead of doing video conferencing for courts. There's all kinds of different things we as a commonwealth should be looking at.
So, and I think they do. I mean, the legislature was actually looking at the statute to require for certain ones.
But what have they done
can
so
gun
far,
that.
though, other than look at it?
It's actually a lot of the jails. It's not the courts. That's the issue. Like, we
Jails,
can do-
courts, whatever.
But they don't have, the jail has to have all the function to be able to do that with the multiple court system. So we run into that quite a bit on if someone's being housed in like Fayette County.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no
we-
sacred cows in
Yeah,
this.
like we
need to work
allow
together.
them. But I think for the most part, I mean, they try, but again, there's no magic wand that's going to fix all of this problem. Like,
No magic, there's no magic wands ever.
No,
That's why we
right.
have
So
to work
that's-
together to
I think
solve
a lot of it's
problems.
going to have to be from a legislative standpoint.
But if pressure comes from everywhere, the legislatures are going to pay more attention to it.
No, and
The problem
We
too,
have.
the problem too is that nobody is ever going to come and say, hey, I want to help pay for this. Nobody.
True.
They're not, nobody's going to say, you know, I want to help take on this extra expense. I mean, I've said it for years that if every different agency that had something to do with the incarceration judicial branch, everybody took that on and we shared in it, then I think that you would see a difference. Not in having taken anything away from the safety of our community, because it's very important. We've invested a lot of money and energy into, you know, what Jenny does, what the sheriff does, what the jail does in keeping our community safe and trying to lessen the burden on the taxpayer. But the things that we've done, obviously, is important to keeping us safe, but again, nobody wants to pay any extra fees to help with the cost. And it's a broken record. I mean, a little bit. Tom and I've been doing this with 2015. I ran for office my first time knowing that there was a jail problem. Didn't know what it was. And it really wasn't a direct jail problem. We determined it was at the time it was the drug problem that was causing a jail problem, you know, which is now has led into a decade of multiple problems that's a domino from that. Now I would consider it more mental health issues, but we have about $160,000, $13,000 a month increase right now that's being requested, and we have to have a medical contract starting July 1.
What do they provide us that justifies their increase, other than just saying, well, expenses, we need a 20% increase? Everything since 2020 has gone up. Well, in reality, the majority of things that's gone up should be coming back down by now, but nothing has, and nothing's going to. But still, if they want a 20%, then they should be able to justify that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say their biggest one is liability. I'm gonna say their biggest reason for their increase is liability. Their liability insurance, the liability, the risk. You know, they talk about how sick our population is in the Madison County Detention Center. That the risk at the Madison County Detention Center versus others of the 60 other places they're in, that nothing compares to. And you got to remember, Southern Health Partners left us. And I don't know, I mean, that's not my role as a county judge executive. I didn't run for jailer. You know, we're the financial arm of the jail. That's what KRS says. And, you know, I don't know, but I did get some kind words in the meeting that they can see a difference and a positive change over there, and that's all. I mean, it's what I'm hopeful for.
So what you
And I
need-
feel like it's Larry's leadership, you know, but you're not going to change that culture overnight.
So what you need from us right now is the sheriff to come over here and take the handcuffs off so you can go ahead and do business.
That's what I need to be able to go and negotiate and bring something back to you all if That's your pleasure.
That's our only choice. Let's go.
All right, thank y'all for your time. Billy Ray, comments from Ashton's.
Waco Volunteer Fire Department's having their truck and tractor pull this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Appreciate them guys. They're special people, and I just think a lot of them, so I appreciate the support. Scott, you know anything, we was gonna give them some roads to pick up. You remember that deal on litter pickup situation and, so we kind of still got time for that.
We'll have our next litter pickup till this fall.
Fall, we have a spring and a fall pickup.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all I got.
Tom?
Just one thing, that's for Scott and his people down at the road department, Scott. I've had several phone calls, you know, all those issues you've been dealing with. And I appreciate that. Appreciate you going out there and working with them and resolving those things. I know you've been working close with the judge on that to get the things out at Battlefield straightened out. And the people out there that live out there, they appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if anybody needs me, Judge, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Brian?
Glad to be here, Judge.
Glad you're here, buddy.
I'm glad to be here too, Judge.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Kenny?
Don't have anything, sir.
Sheriff? Counselor? All right. Comments from department heads. Any department heads today? Public comment? Anybody?
Troy?
Troy will sing for us. I need a motion and a second to pay the claims, approve the transfers, please.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Master Buchan?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Our next meeting will be June 24th, 2025, right back here in our fiscal court room at 135 West Irvin Street at 9:30 a.m. Again, June 24th, 2025, right back here in our fiscal court room at 9:30 a.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn, please.
Hey, Judge, got one more comment.
Yes, sir, before we adjourn.
We kind of breezed over it at the last court, but I want to thank you for everything. Look at this courthouse. Y'all look around for a second. And we've got a fine physical courtroom here. You've done a good job on that and negotiating all that, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate that. It is. I'm very proud of it. I think Madison County deserves a room like this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for the kind words. Motion and second to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Buchan?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.